on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we are focused on Star Trek Discovery, Season 4, Episode 6, Stormy Weather. And we have here a sickly Starfleet Boy. I have either a cold or the flu or COVID. No, I did test negative on a rapid test today. So in 3 more days I'll test again, and I'm also gonna get a PCR test. So doing the responsible thing to make sure everyone around me is safe. In my little quarters here, though, I don't need to wear a mask, which is really refreshing and it's nice. I'm also joined by Marcelo. Welcome back, Marcelo.
Good to be here again.
I'm also joined by Trek on the Tube.
Howdy.
Who's lobbying for us to go early and then didn't come early to the
I
thing.
asked if we could, and then you said no, so I went and I did other things.
I was
God
here.
damn
I
it.
can attest to that. I was here.
It's true. We had a great
being
old time.
accused.
We had a great old
Fine,
pre-party.
I'll give my ranking and then piss off.
No, stay. And then we have Braxton, Ahsoka, and Ezri joining us, which is so cute. Hold on, I'm gonna put you full screen for a second.
Braxton and his cats.
This is like so cool. He's like, don't.
Dude, I can't move right now.
Look, you got both of them on you. They
I'm
love you.
just-
I love those cats. It's so cool. I
am
can't wait to visit.
Buried in cats.
Do they also hop on people?
Ahsoka does. She's very friendly.
Oh, cool.
Ezri is very much my cat. He really only interacts with me.
Thank you. Well, all right, cool. When I come to visit,
And he just knocked over my booze. And he's watching
God damn
it. He's watching
Darn
it
it.
again. Mhm.
Do they ever drink it?
No.
I'm not interested.
Who wants to give us like some opening thoughts about this episode?
Ooh, like a recap.
No, we're trying not to do recaps. Just like you can just go into like your thoughts directly if you want to, just
Okay.
about the
So
episode.
I like doing a recap. I feel like it
Okay.
focuses our thoughts really well. You
Then
know.
You're voluntold.
So we open up in what looks like the ship's bar, and and the girls are talking. Gosh, what are the girls' names, dude? Like
Kayla and Wolfshiken and Detmer.
no, the other girl.
Oh no,
The
they're
younger
in the
girl.
gym. Sorry. It's oh my God, Gray.
Stalker boy, save me.
Where's
Gray,
Gray?
Gray,
Oh.
and Adira.
and
They're
Adira.
That's 'cause-
Mhm.
That's because they're not both girls, Rex. That's
They're
why I was
not.
confused.
They're
Like
not.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
No,
I'm
it's
so
okay
sorry.
though. I get it. Like
Okay.
I also understand what you're saying. My mother goes through this too, by the way. Not to compare you to my mom, but
So we start off in the bar, and then everyone needs to get to their helm because Captain Burnham has like some stuff that's going on. So Gray is feeling left out. She's like, "Oh, what am I going to do?" So then we get to the bridge, and like the task is at hand. They're in a void that is left by the anomaly, and there's nothing, like no readings.
I thought Nagilum was going to be there.
Mhm.
I love this this recap. It feels like there's sass and like attitude to it. Like there's like nothing.
Text Trek is also giving you a little sass and attitude. He says Toddy is liking my tweets while sitting in on the stream.
Yeah,
What a
I saw
talented
that.
multitasker.
I'm gonna choose to take that as a compliment.
I think this is the right time to let the audience know that Trek on the Tube is sore because he was demoted a long time ago to lieutenant commander from commander.
Oh,
No, I'm
really?
just kidding.
When was this?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. I just want to push your buttons. But anyways, carry on, Braxton.
But this is a Zora episode. Like Zora, the ship is actually sentient, and she is confused. And Gray helps her to like organize her thoughts and really focus. So we're introduced to the character of Zora now, and Zora works things out. We get to see Wusakun and Detmer in a workout gear, I would have loved to see them actually like working out and doing some Pilates, like Dr. Crusher and Troy.
Yes,
I'm
that
sure
would
that
be
they
cool.
filmed it, but they said, oh, you know what? This is just too much. It's too fucking much, so we can't give it to them.
It's just
That
the
is
actors they were working out on the side, and Jonathan Frakes was like secretly filming them. He's like, no, we can't release this. This is it's too much.
wow. Secretly, I don't think Jonathan Frakes does that.
But we
Toddy, just
found out more about
FYI.
the anomaly, and at the end of it, Zora made her family tree, and we were seeing like Tilly and the Doctor and like Saru.
They're
So
more like
yeah,
photo albums than family trees. I feel like they're playing a bit fast and loose with the term family there.
Wow. You don't think a ship is a family, Toddy? Like you don't think they're like a
Somewhat, but like Burnham has multiple people has people multiple times on the same tree there. So
Oh,
it's
hers. Yeah, hers is more.
it's
Yeah,
it's
you're
it's more
like.
of like a collage of like
Oh wait, I had a
people
really
that
good
that are
banner.
close to you,
Hold
I
on,
guess.
I have a banner that sums it up. Hold on. Ah, if I can get my mouse to work here. Hold on a second. I got a banner. I got a banner for this. Where's my banner? Where is it? Ah, the tree of
That was a wonderful recap, by the way.
Yeah, it was really great. Thank you.
oh, thank
Uh,
you.
the tree of discovery. No.
I
Jill,
know
we
he's
supposed to be
expecting a
fair.
reason. He wants a reaction from someone for this banner. I don't know
It's a
what to
good
say.
one. The tree of discovery. I thought that's what it should be.
Dude, put it on your AR wall.
Yes. That's what I'm gonna do. Greetings to PE. Hello.
Hey,
So Book
PE.
Book had a mean dad. Yeah, actually, Book did have a mean dad. Picard and Burnham had very different methods of helping Data and Zora overcome their fear. I think Braxton's absolutely right that this was a Zora episode, and I like that about it. I thought it was really cool to see this character finally emerge fully in an episode, and it was interesting too. I don't think we've ever had an episode about like a ship, like an alive ship. I don't know. It was weird. It was a cool thing. We probably have, but I might not just be
Forgotten like
remember.
that wonderful TNG episode where the ship becomes sentient.
Oh yeah, we did have that. You're right.
Hmm.
No, I mean maybe
Mm.
the closest thing to like this specifically would probably be like the short tricks episode with Zora and
Right.
Calypso.
Mhm.
yeah,
Calypso.
Calypso.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
PE says Gray looks like
Oh, there's
the one.
Alice too. I'm sorry.
What's
There's
that?
Alice, the sentient shuttlecraft race ship as well that wants to force Tom Paris to be in a relationship with him or something.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh.
right. That's right. Good pull. That's right.
Okay, my bad. I thought this was like a new thing. I just totally forgot about those other times.
Good pull.
You know
Um,
that actress has that style hair in real life. Like I look at pictures of Instagram of her, and like that's like what her hair looks like.
The actress
She's
from The
actually
Matrix.
That plays Gray,
Oh, okay.
hmm like the with like the long thing in the back. Is it called a mullet?
it's
Is
a
that
Yeah,
what
that
it
mullet.
is a mullet.
Yeah.
It's a mullet.
Have you
Mhm.
guys ever had a mullet? I never
I have
did.
not. I
I
can
have.
attest
Yeah.
that oh really? I have
Yeah, I
not.
have.
All my farmer family cousins have mullets.
It was
Oh,
not. It was. It
is
was
it to
not a good
protect their
look.
necks from the sun? Is it practical if they're farmers? Is that what it
Okay,
is?
we're gonna say that it has a practical use.
It could.
It's not at all like a fashion statement of any
It
kind.
could work that way though, don't you think? Like hair kind of
I mean,
protects
I
you.
guess it stops you
Anyways.
from being a redneck. I guess it keeps you from being one. If you have the mullet, is that it?
Grow long in the back.
What did you guys think of Book's dad? I like that name that Jill came up with today because is Book's dad a bad guy? He's another example of a bad dad for sure. But do you think we're gonna get more story about this? Is this what's gonna lead to us understanding why he was named after Cleveland Booker? Like, what do you think's going on, or is it just a one-off? Like, it's a one-hit
I think you're
wonder?
right about that. I think you're right about like the fact that he wanted to distance himself from the family and from like the decisions that his family made to sell those beautiful creatures. So that's why he chose like a different name. He chose to like dissociate himself from the family name. But I think the end of this episode was pretty much a conclusion. Like it was him, the whole thing about him saying, "I just hope that his cousin and his sorry, his friend and his nephew, whatever it is,
Yeah, well, it
they'd
was
gone
his
to another
brother.
place.
That's his brother and
Okay.
so yeah.
All right. So yeah, I think that him coming to terms with that is like basically accepting the differences and the loss that he has, like the loss of his father, and we've moved on from that now. I think it was a one time thing.
My one little kind of like thought that I was like, oh, this is like interesting is like Discovery really loves ghosts. Like we had May, we've had Culber kind of I guess as a ghost, like Gray was a ghost, and now we had Book's dad. It's very
Well,
interesting
we
that we
had
get
Tilly's friend there
But you
for a
know, but the
while
thing
too.
yeah
is,
yeah
I don't know about you guys, but I think that we walk with the memories of our parents like through a lot of our lives. So, for instance, like I think about things that my mother and father have told me just like in my day to day life. Like, I remember being a teenager and like being like up to stuff with like, people. And like, I would see my father and think about how my father was going to whoop my ass if he ever found out I was doing this. And that would stop me from doing things, you know?
hmm
My father is a military man who is really, really hard to get along with, who does not take no for an answer, but is a good father, but is really, really hard to get along with. Like my youngest brother is home right now, and he and my dad had an argument, so he like called me at like 5 o'clock, and I was like, oh my god, just go to our other brother's house and like hang out. And he's like, oh my god, I'm never gonna talk to dad ever again. It's like, you know what, dude, like don't overreact in the moment, But our father is really, really hard to get along with. He's really a jerk, but he's a good dad. And so people are really complicated. So maybe Book's dad is
yeah.
the same way. I don't think that Book's dad is a bad guy speaking from the perspective of a person who has a complicated father.
That's a really cool thing that you shared. I think that like that makes sense because he does mention in the episode, now that I think of it, like I think he mentioned that and we get more of the Emerald Chain repercussions kind of woven in, even though they're not around anymore. But he mentioned that he was killing sacred or hunting sacred animals to the Quajon, but it was to protect the Quajon from the Emerald Chain.
Well,
So
that was the plot of season 3, episode 1. You remember that, right?
no, I
That
know,
was the
but I
oh,
know,
okay.
yeah, but like the dad was probably hunting those, like the
Well,
transference or whatever.
so was his brother.
Oh yeah. So
That's
yeah,
what
I
he was
guess
so
that's true.
pissed about everyone. But like he
Everyone,
could, yeah,
yeah, that's
I
why
guess
Book
his
left.
brother was alive, so he could work through that, whereas his father probably didn't. But yeah, I agree with Braxton. I don't think his father was a bad person. I just think that like his way of dealing with the Emerald Chain and his way of protecting the family and the planet was by doing that. Like he maybe thought it was a sacrifice, get rid of like this one species, I guess, but you'll be able to save the planet in itself. Punctuated by the cats.
The Ahsoka must agree with you, Toddy. That's an agreeing, yeah. That's like
What
right
does
on.
Marcelo think?
Dude, she
Yeah,
likes she likes Discovery.
Okay.
I particularly really didn't care for Book's flashbacks of his father. I found them to be particularly useless. I'm like, you guys couldn't have given him something better to do.
They
So that was
they weren't
that was the
they weren't flashback. They were hallucinations.
no
So
hallucinations,
yeah,
flashback, whatever the hell they were.
Yeah.
same difference.
I kind of just was like, I was like, whatever. I particularly didn't care. The one thing that I really liked about this episode is that the the bridge crew that I've been dying for some character development for the past 4 years finally got something to do. It was so nice to watch everybody work together in this predicament. It was it was
They've been doing that a
just
lot this season, actually.
Yeah,
I
because
feel
yeah
they
like
take
yeah
lines like a good bit.
yeah.
I mean, to Braxton's point, they got so many good lines and so many good moments. I particularly like that moment when Woshikin wanted to volunteer to, I believe, go on the outside of the ship for some reason, and then Saru wouldn't let her.
Hmm.
Um, I particularly like that. But my favorite moment is when. Let me see if I remember correctly. Yes, my favorite moment is when, uh, to to save the rest of the crew, Burnham makes a decision to put everybody in the pattern buffers. I was
Hmm.
like, "That's
Yeah,
amazing.
that was a real
That's
cool callback too.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah." I was
Actually,
like,
she kind of like came up with it on her own, and then Zora
"Yeah,
like said, "Oh, it's been done before," and we know, we know the most famous of that is Scotty for like 80 years or whatever, just hanging out in the
Who?
Scotty. Scotty was hanging out in the
Who?
parent
In the pattern buffer for like 75 years,
for,
dude.
yeah, for like 70 years or whatever. Like,
you
it
know."
was a
And
thing.
there was also that evil scientist from TNG season one, who actually after his brain died and after he got discovered in Data's body, he transferred himself into the pattern buff of the Enterprise for a while. I can't remember his name though. Um,
Wait,
There were also the people that were stuck that were scaring Barkley every time he took the transporter, wasn't it?
oh yeah, there were people stuck and yeah, that's right. That what is the cat gonna eat Braxton? Like, what's
Nah.
happening right
Sorry, things just got crazy for a second, dude. Sorry.
now? That's really funny. But yeah, carry
also,
on. Sorry.
the last thing that I particularly loved about this episode is that a lot of the directors of Star Trek Discovery from season one to season four, they have a particular way of directing the show. They can never keep the damn camera still. And as a film lover, I love the way that Jonathan Frakes directed the crap out of this episode because he kept the camera still
There was
for the
one
most
spin.
part. And
There
yeah,
was
just
one
one little
spin.
spin, just one
Mhm.
little spin.
He does a
But for
spin
the
every
yeah,
episode. There's always
yeah,
a
Well,
Jonathan Frakes
and
spin.
it was like delicately put because it
yeah,
was just to accentuate like the spin of the
the
ship. The
turning,
ship
yeah,
was
yeah,
spinning, and so yeah.
yeah. But I love the fact that Jonathan really handled this episode with a modicum of care, and he was just like graceful. I mean, his camera movements were so smooth and not herky jerky
Do you
like
credit the
some.
director with that or the cinematographer?
No, the director with that,
Okay. Sometimes
because
they're both. I
right,
know
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Spielberg likes to get behind the wheel, so to
I
speak,
think
and
yeah, he does.
cinematographer
Yeah.
is more about like the lighting and the shot composition.
Lighting, yeah.
but the director decides like what kind of shot,
Yeah,
basically the
movement and stuff
movement
like
and
that.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Got it.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, that was like the highlights. So my two highlights was Jonathan Frakes directing, and the fact that Debmer, Awoshikan, and all the other bridge people that I would love to know more about actually got something to do this week. I love that.
Right
Yeah,
on. Yeah, I agree with
I
that
agree.
too.
I think they'll have
Especially
more.
especially the ping, the sonar idea, and all that stuff. That was all really good stuff. That was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
What
And
were you saying?
Not that I'm happy that Tilly's gone, but I just think that like having a main character out is going to leave a little more room, a little more space to write in like Bryce Reese, that Mo'o, you can give them a
Mhm.
little more space to breathe. There's
Yeah,
one
it's a
thing I
really
wanted
good
to ask
point. And we
Marcelo.
got
Maybe he
Dr.
knows
Pollard
this.
in this episode, like more
Yeah,
too. There's a
Pollard.
lot
Oh,
of
we
there's a
did.
lot
Yeah.
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dr.
No
Pollard, I
Reno,
like
very disappointed, but Pollard.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Marcelo. There's that moment in the beginning where they have the little montage and they do the little editing with the like they cut through the
yeah,
screen.
It's
I
montage. It's
yeah,
The
montage.
montage.
I
Yeah, it's a montage.
my friend who I've been watching the whole season with liked that, but I did not like that.
Okay.
I did not like the split screen thing. I
Okay.
did not
So
like that for a particular reason.
my big question is, do you think that's the Jonathan Frakes decision, or do you think he just filmed everything separately and then someone said, you know what, we could do a little thing with that, like in the editing bay later on?
Um, I wouldn't put it past Jonathan for thinking, hey, we could probably do a little cool thing. But then again, I
I love that
wouldn't.
you're on first name basis with Jonathan Frakes. I always just say Mr. Frakes
Oh,
or Jonathan
sorry,
Frakes, but no,
sorry.
I think it's cool. Like,
J Dog.
J
Yeah.
Dog, J Dog was like,
So check it out. So check it out. I spoke to Mr. Frakes, and he said
I
that
shamed Marcelo. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's fine. I spoke to I spoke to Mr. Frakes, and he said that it wasn't his decision to do that,
Okay.
but he thought he thought it would have been cool formatically to do that. No, by the way, guys, I didn't speak to Jonathan Frakes. I don't know Jonathan Frakes.
That's really
You know,
funny.
I was thinking it's probably like he filmed all of these things, but like because you want to have every shot, and then someone in the editing bay was like, we could do something clever. We could save time instead of having all these shots, kind of like one after the other. We
Right.
could do this. It's more dynamic. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun because it's not something that we see very often, like in Discovery or in Star Trek in general. I think the
In general.
closest thing we've come to this is like maybe some Lower Decks gags, but I don't think it's split screen. Maybe
You know
I
that
think.
comic book style panel changing thing I think that's what you guys are talking about, right? That scene where like the
Yeah,
screen goes this way and then it
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
down. It looked like it was like moving through panels to me. I love
Yeah.
that. So whoever did that, I thought did a great job. Like I thought that was very clever and cool, and I want to see
good
more of
job,
that.
editor person.
Good job. It's very okay. You're gonna like get mad, but it's very like Riverdale. I love like I like swipes and things like that that are just a little bit different. Or
You like
whatever.
swipes? How dare you? Swipes
I
are like
love swipes.
swipes are evil. Sorry, no, swipes are not evil. Swipes are fun.
But Ruben thinks that it's likely an editor decision, which is
Oh,
interesting. But I don't know. It could be both. Some directors want to do everything, or have their hands in everything. Frakes did a little of the individual reactions of every person to events that I can't stand. Says book had a mean dad. But not as much as some others. So yeah, I don't know, he's a really good director. I tweeted about him today saying like, oh, I just always get like a warm fuzzy feeling, and he never really disappoints. Like even when he's not at the top of his game, it's usually better than a lot of other folks. So Jonathan Frakes is awesome on Star Trek. Let's keep getting him.
Do
What
you
happened?
think-
What happened?
well, you're saying that all the other directors are terrible.
No,
yeah,
I didn't.
terrible.
That's not what I said. I said I like all the other directors. I just get an extra special feeling when it's Jonathan
He gets a little
Frakes.
kick.
Yeah. You know who else I would like to
LeVar
see
Burton-
come back?
LeVar
Yeah.
Burton hasn't
Yeah.
directed,
He should totally direct Star Trek.
Why not?
Why isn't he directing Picard?
God
He
damn
should be
it.
directing Picard. LeVar Burton.
you
I think
think-
Michael Dorn
Does
directs
Whoopi
too.
Goldberg know how to direct too?
I'm sure she can direct. She can do
They can all
anything she
direct.
wants. Whoopi Goldberg can do whatever she wants.
She's
And Guinan and Whoopi Goldberg can both do whatever.
Directed by Guinan.
Yeah, it should just totally be that.
Do you think that I was gonna say, do you think that Mr. Frakes is going to direct some episodes of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I hope. I hope so. I don't know, but
Absolutely.
I feel confident that he would nail that that show. I think he would like do a good job. Not just nail it. What did you guys think of the Rift in general? Like the whole concept of the Rift, and like what did you think of the revelations we got about the Rift being like the Rift is like this weird emptiness, but the actual anomaly, the DMA, comes from outside our galaxy. So whoever they're going to introduce as the source is going to be someone completely new, or it'll be the Kelvins from TOS, but I don't think it's the Kelvins. I have a feeling it's not the Kelvins, but it might be. Father knows what I'm talking about, and any other TOS lovers. I don't think Toddy's gotten to that episode yet. But
Well, I've seen all the episodes like 5 times already.
yeah, they're from the Andromeda galaxy. So there's an episode of TOS where these like guys hijack the Enterprise because they want to take it out of and they actually go through the galactic barrier, and they're on their way to Andromeda.
I think it'll be really cool to see a brand new alien species, a brand new evil alien species in Star Trek. If it's not these Andromeda folks that you're talking about now, but yeah, these folks. Yeah, no, because I've been feeling as of late that, for the lack of a better word, for lack of a few alien races here or there, Star Trek, New Star Trek has been falling back on old alien races or new incarnations of old alien races. So it'll be nice to see a brand new species if they decide to go down that path.
I
Yeah,
agree. I also
agree.
wonder if Discovery this season's finale will give us, similarly to how we got the Borg, introduction in TNG, like if it'll be that epic, like if we're gonna have like, will it be a villain that lasts? You know, like you know how the Borg just became a thing, like that. Like it, everything on Star Trek is, you know, Toddy says it's about Spock, but I say it's about the Borg. There's like way more. I always, I
Bro,
always am gonna.
what?
The Borg. Star Trek's about the Borg.
Nothing is about the
No.
Borg. There's like TNG and Voyager
Hey.
is the biggest Borg shit.
TNG as the Borg. DS9 did not. You're right, except for the opening, which you know the Borg
Picard
affected.
uses them as like a tool at best for their story to advance. Like,
The Borg are responsible for Cisco's life. Okay, the Borg have affected everything in the TNG era. They continue into Star Trek Picard. They've been in like First Contact, so they were in
Spock
the
has
movie.
affected more things than the Borg
I think that they're unequal.
himself.
No.
We're gonna be.
no.
I think they're
Spock has
equal.
I mean, the
I'm-
Borg have assimilated like thousands of species.
It's
They have
true.
conquered thousands of worlds. They have killed billions of people. I think that the Borg have affected people a whole
Spock
lot
had a
more.
beard.
Yeah. I'm with Sean on this one. I tend to think that
PE says that the Borg were in the Enterprise
focuses
too. That's totally
more
true.
on Spock than the Borg.
Could you imagine how sad you would be if the Borg assimilated, like, you know, everybody that you know, and you were like this, like, lone person, you know, like, dependent on the kindness of Starfleet because, like, everyone that you know is, like, either dead or on a Borg show.
That's like the most terrible, terrifying, scary movie of all Star Trek movies you could do. Just like some person alone, and there's just Borg, right? That's it.
Yeah,
It's like I Am Legend, except it's just the
the
Borg.
Borg. Yeah.
The Borg are very popular. I would say that they're on par with Spock in terms of their popularity in the Star Trek fan community. I don't know. I kind of
What
want to
you guys-
cosplay as a Borg. It'd be cool.
Hey,
Well, I mean,
So,
look.
I feel like we haven't really touched on like what you guys think about Zora. Like, you know, what do you think of like her personality and like her being sentient? Like, what do you think about that?
I enjoy Zora. I think the actor struggled a little bit through a couple of lines in this episode. Like I heard a couple, but yeah, no, I enjoy Zora. I think that the concept is fine. It's nice. I like that at the end of the episode, she specifically said that she is happy with like being here, and so she actually told Burnham, like, I'm fine with being your tool, your ship. Like, I enjoy this. I was wondering how they were going to address that. I still think that Burnham should kind of, you know, tell Starfleet that her ship is a life form and sentient.
I think they know. Don't you think they know? Maybe I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure they know because she just
Oh.
got emotions. She's evolving.
Right.
It's also very scary. Like, I think that this is a threat. Like, this should be absolutely like this. Zora says, "I think you're worried or you don't trust me." Yeah, that's yes. We should all be afraid of this, and I think that someone should be notified. I do enjoy it. I think it's.
I think that's kind of addressed in the episode actually. Like,
Kinda,
and I like the way
Discovery does. They kind of address things.
No, but I actually like Burnham's approach to it. She was very different. I think Book Had a Mean Dad, Jill was pointing this out earlier, which is that like Burnham's approach to Zora was like very different from previous approaches to crew members that were not able to handle their duties or whatever, and it's because she was like kind of recognizing that she's a nascent life form in a way. And yeah, exactly. And so even though Zora doesn't think she's a child, she is a child in a way. She's like a young like life form. And so for Burnham to relate that story of her family and her trauma when she was a little girl, like I thought that was a great way of showing like Zora, like it's okay, because Zora would relate to that, being scared and not being able to, so I thought that was a brilliant
the same thing. It's not because we haven't seen Picard. It's not because we haven't seen Picard or other characters do this that they wouldn't have done this, because.
But they haven't. So I'm just saying, like,
no,
Burnham's.
Zora is not an android on your ship. Zora is your ship. This is very different. At any moment, the life form can just decide you're gone. And even if they regret it, it's too late. You know what I mean? I mean, Discovery would probably drag it out so that everyone has time to be saved. But like it's very threatening to have like
I really
your
think
ship be a
that
complete life form.
I really think there's like a kill switch they could like a man. There's got to be like a scene where like
I
Michael
don't think
Burnham puts on a
so. I don't.
spacesuit,
I
just like
don't think
Hal,
so.
and she's like Zora's
Not
like,
since the
"Don't kill me,
sphere.
Michael. Don't
Not
kill
since the
me,
sphere
Michael.
data.
Michael, don't kill me."
No,
I'm
because
wondering.
then they would have destroyed the Discovery, right? They had to send the Discovery into the future to avoid the sphere data be
Oh, I
like.
forgot about the sphere data.
Because then
Yeah,
they would have
yeah.
just like throw Discovery into a sun, but they specifically said we can't do that. Like we have to. So Zora is now like like the Discovery is
Once
and
they
Zora are like
discovered
an
in
unkillable thing.
yeah, well, because in season 2 they did discover that the sphere data has some kind of like sentience, but it wasn't like a sentience as complicated as.
Probably asked why we want to kill Zora. I don't want to
I
kill
don't want
Zora.
to.
Okay,
I love Zora.
I enjoy the interactions. I just think that this should be
That's
addressed
so
further
funny.
in a more official capacity, like on Burnham's side,
You
etc.
know,
I would have preferred seeing less Zora and more of like, I guess, scientific problem solving within the anomaly that they were in. Like just as a personal preference within the episode, I enjoyed when they came up with the pattern buffer solution. I would have liked to know like what was going on. Things were disappearing. They say like eaten or whatever. I would have liked to know like what's going on and what's happening within this anomaly. Do things just disappear in this void because
that's what
nothing
they
can exist?
but that's what
Um,
they would like to know that too, and I think we will find out a little bit more, but they're giving us a little more about the anomaly every episode, and I kind of like that same point where you're like I would have liked to have known that. Personally in this episode, I think it worked because and also this whole season I like these little like reveals, and now we have the biggest reveal so far, which is like that whoever created this thing is from outside the galaxy, and I think that's terribly interesting. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I see what you mean, like it'd be nice to know, but I kind of also think it's cool that they don't know, like they're out of their depth in a way. Like this technology, whatever it is like beyond their understanding. Like, why would the Discovery just go totally still inside of this rift? Like, there was no sound, no anything. Like, it was just dead. Like, they were saying it was scientifically impossible. Like, sensors couldn't scan anything. I actually legit thought Nagilum was going to come out at one point because it was so. I really did.
I don't
was
remember
like,
who Nagilum was. Dude.
so
Like,
something very similar
I'm
happened
saying
to the
like a
Enterprise. Yeah, he was like a cat face. I think they used like a cat's face or something like that. It was like really
Oh,
weird.
wait a minute. Nagilum is the stupid catfish from the TNG episode.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah,
like
oh, yeah.
so excited. I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my
God.
god, are they gonna go there? Is Nagilum gonna come out and be like, I'm going to kill everyone on your ship, Captain Burnham? Like I was like, yes, like this is, and then she has to fight Nagilum and like it'd be like so I was ready for Nagilum, but anyways, sorry, Toddy, I didn't mean to like derail your point. But yeah.
Also, I'm sorry, I just had a
Go
thought.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say that the workout costumes that Detmer and Awushikun were wearing, I feel like they didn't really look that comfortable. I was thinking about like working out in that just now, and I was like, you know what, dude? Like, I feel like it doesn't look like super stretchy. Like it almost looks like a combat suit.
I love how this is what you're worried about with Discovery. There's so much
No, I
going
love
on in
it.
this show.
I gotta
that,
look.
like,
I gotta go look
first
at that
we
again.
complain about it, he's all like, nah. But
My
my mother's the same as you, Braxton. Every time she watches Discovery, she's like, why did the women have their hair loose? She says
I
"That's not
compared I
She says
compared
everyone
Braxton
that
to
has
my mom
long
earlier.
hair. Yeah, well, my mother's like everyone that has long hair. Anyone that has long hair, they should have it like tied up somehow.
Tied up.
It's not professional to have it loose and falling down. She's like,
Really?
I don't. Yeah, she doesn't like
No,
that.
yeah. As a person who had long hair like 3 times in my life, I can completely agree with Sean's mother. If you're like in a
Oh,
professional with Toddy's mother, if you're in a professional setting, it's always good to have your hair up and out of your face,
Just so
not to
you all
have it.
know, on Starfleet Boy, we don't
just
care
nice.
how you like. You can wear your hair up. You can wear it down. It can be
Casual and
blue.
informal.
Yeah, yeah.
Marcelo, did you have a man bun, dude?
Yeah. No, like for a while, like the first time I did it, I had like a stupid ass teeny, like a teeny bopper bun the first time. I was like, but this is like too stupid. So I took it off one day and I lowered it down. So
I just want to say my favorite thing that Michael did in this episode was when they first were inside of this thing and the dots get destroyed and they're like trying to figure out a way, and Saru's just like, we can't even perform our main duty, and she's like, abort the mission. It was such a good moment. Like, I got goosebumps the way she said it, like the way they framed it, like the way it was like shot, the musical cue, everyone's reaction. It was like a great moment.
In my notes, I literally have like the moment they got in there, the moment they couldn't scan anything, they couldn't detect anything, I was like, I'm leaving. Fuck this. Like that was in my notes is like, why aren't they leaving? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Just get out of there.
And just
And then
from
it's like you send a dot, what is it, 20,000 there, and the thing disintegrates. You're like, nah, you got to get out of there.
Yeah, you got to get out of there. To
Like,
me,
what are
that
you
showed
doing?
also like a progression of Burnham's character in a good way. Like, for like, she finally was just like doing a very captain like thing. She like, before Michael would be like, I'll get in a spacesuit and I'll just go, like what Book wanted to do. He was just like, could you imagine? First of all, I will critique a little bit and get. I will critique one thing a little bit. I feel like there's a procedure missing, which is, why didn't you fire a probe into the rift before y'all went in there?
Yeah,
I guess they
like
could. I guess because the signal couldn't come back or whatever. But still, it's like, yeah. But I mean, like, whatever. But still, I was just like,
that counts as
yeah,
a
that's
probe.
true. That does count as a probe. That's true.
Dude,
Good
did you
point.
feel bad when it was disintegrating and
And
Ajay was like,
screaming?
"Ooh,"
It
like,
was screaming.
he was
The
like,
poor little
"Oh,"
thing.
like it's screaming.
I actually created a banner, if
dramatic.
Fathery's still here, melting screaming dot Fathery's dream.
I feel bad for the Star Trek when they do that kind of stuff, because I know that they're just trying to pull the audience's heartstrings. Like, they just want to make everyone feel emotion, but it's like you're sacrificing so much of what Star Trek is just for that. You're making Star Trek use sentient robots. It's so unethical. You're ordering these friggin' things that are alive to go and die. It's like, you can't. Star Trek doesn't do that. We shouldn't be doing that.
I don't think they sent one of the sentient dots.
Star
Toddy.
Trek
Why
doesn't
did
give a
it
fuck about
scream?
lives, dude.
What's
like,
that?
They kill people like literally all the time.
No, but like
talking about,
what
like,
he's talking about is
rapture.
he's talking about like if you order a robot, like is it going against its will? Two things: you're assuming the robot's doing this against its will if it is sentient. You're assuming that it didn't want to be in Starfleet and it doesn't like want to do missions and
Clear.
things.
They haven't clarified.
And
No,
we
but
should
like,
have a moment-
but I think like if it's serving on a ship, like, and based on what we know of the Federation, they're pretty ethical when it comes to life forms. Well, maybe not in
Well,
Picard,
they had
but
Doc Sevens in the first seasons of this.
but
show.
those weren't sentient. Those were robots. Those were clearly robots. Yeah, the dots didn't become sentient till
Well,
Zora put her.
Ephraim and Dot would disagree with you that short treks.
That's a post Zora episode, I think.
No, that's literally during the Enterprise, the TOS movies. It happens on the TOS Enterprise. Or the
Again, I'll
research
just say
program.
that just because a dot is programmed to act emotional doesn't necessarily mean it is sentient.
Why
It
would
could
you
be
program
programmed
it to scream?
because you would just do it. It's friendlier. Like, when you have like when you're interacting
hell.
with a machine and that like could kill you, you'd want it to act like cute and nice and sweet and say please and thank you. Like, those are all things that you would
Zora
program.
is going to create an army of dots and rebel.
You have a very mistrusting you're very mistrusting of AI and technology, which I think is fair.
We really should be. But I mean, as is me, maybe.
Father has a maybe the dot cartoon was an in-universe cartoon and
I would
didn't
enjoy
really
that.
happen.
I would enjoy that. I would
Toddy
like
has
that.
to know. He needs to know. It has to be written on screen.
It
Like,
has
he
to be
can't just
said.
like he
Canon,
can't just
not
take
canon.
it. He can't just like accept that that's what it is. But yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe
we
we'll
should
get
have a
that.
moment of silence for Gonzalez, dude, who
Oh, yes.
who gave his life.
Oh yes.
Who is that guy? Who died? Like,
Whom Zora
I
sacrificed.
can't even believe that HM
Who's
Foray,
that guy?
that's Humbert, is here and he's defending you. Like,
Zora murdered that man.
no! Oh my
Zora
gosh!
absolutely created the
Did
field
we ever meet that guy?
behind.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't think so.
Wait, but why? How do you get away with like Zora murder? You're saying she murdered the man?
Yes.
Like what? Like intentionally ejected him out into space?
Yes.
What?
This is very interesting. I'm a little
You can
flabbergasted
you
right
can
now.
you can create, as Discovery has showed us also, you can create basically force fields anywhere. You don't have to respect the specific paneling like they have in TNG. Like TNG has the cascading, the force fields that stay at certain places, but Discovery's already done them all over the place anywhere. And we're in the 32nd century, which means you can clearly erect force fields anywhere the hell you want. Zora specifically put it in front of the man. He could have put it behind because there was also wall
Mm.
behind the guy.
Mm.
Zora erected it in front of him. And
Mm.
then she went all like, "Oh, I killed him."
I just want to say that
Mm.
I
Controversial.
have a Juris Doctorate degree in the 32nd century, and I'm a lawyer, and
Oh, okay.
I'm
Fair enough.
representing
Go ahead.
Zora right now, and I would like to point out that Zora did state openly that Zora was under distress
Mm,
earlier and couldn't
fair
focus
enough.
on even minor tasks such as like replicators and things like that. So where normally I mean, it's
I
not
don't have a
y'all.
double standard, Fathery. I'm very afraid of Data. I've always said that Data should
Yes,
not be
it's true.
allowed
This
to
is
have
true.
full control of the ship and not be allowed to be captain. It's terrifying.
This is true.
Also, I think he's very
He's
bold.
consistent. He
And he
is.
always does things that do save the day, but but he shouldn't be allowed to do them. He's like the Burnham of TNG. Like
Oh wow! Ooh wow!
Yeah,
Data is a
Damn!
he's
terrifying
consistent.
being. I
Shots
love his
fired.
I love his
It's true.
characters. I
Go
love
back and
Data.
watch our
I love Data,
TNG
but
discussions, and you'll see that he's very consistent. This is a true. Toddy's not playing here. It's true.
That's going a little bit too far.
Anyways, I'm gonna defend Zora against you all day long. So we'll move on
fair
to
enough.
another topic.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I guess Zora is.
Zora detected the fucking thing outside too, and she waited till it killed a man before actually.
Okay, you're
you
not
just
taking
quit,
into account that
whatever.
he wouldn't leave. Dr. Pollard's like, get the hell out of there,
That's okay.
transport
I
out of
agree
there.
with that. I
And
agree
he
with
was
that.
like, no, I gotta fix this thing. And so he was also.
Well, he's an idiot too, because like the ship is literally disappearing. Stop fixing things. Like the whole way is disappearing.
He's a
What are you trying to
32nd century
fix?
person. I don't think he expected it to happen.
He didn't
I
expect
don't
the
know.
ship to disappear.
Yeah, he's like, my program will matter. It's never
My
done this
programmable
before. Wow. What did you guys? Wow. What did you guys think of books? Someone already, I think, didn't like it. I forget who, but what did you think of like the hallucinations, like tying into the solution? Being connected to it with the electrical shock and all that good stuff.
I did not care.
No, that's like grunts. Marcelo, try not to grunt so much and say what's on your mind. I'm just kidding. You're welcome to grunt if you want to.
That counts as valid
I
opinion.
mean,
There.
you
That
know,
counts as
I'm
commentary.
really look. I'm really interested to see what you gentlemen have to say. But that everything with Book's vision of his father did not work for me. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about that.
I have no active criticism against it. I don't care at
Well,
all
I don't care either.
personally, but I have nothing against it. Like it was there, it wasn't there. I don't mind. I will actually congratulate the episode for being short, or rather shorter than the other episodes in the season, because I feel like they adapted like the runtime to the story they wanted to tell. They had a smaller story to tell that was like about this anomaly, and so they adapted the runtime to that rather than trying to pad it out. So I appreciated that, but I didn't feel necessarily like all of the book's father thing was like padding or dragging out. It was just there. It was something that he had to go through. And at least it gave me that conclusion where like he came to the conclusion that well he wants his nephew and his brother to be in the same place, like still
He wants
alive
to
in some
believe that
way.
he
Yeah,
wants to
so
believe
the
that he's
fact
talking
that
to a spiritual, like he's having a spiritual connection with like a
yeah,
departed person, and
because he was disagreeing so much with
Right.
like the father, it couldn't possibly be a figment of his imagination, I guess. But like yeah, the fact that they came to that conclusion for me, I guess, kind of justified what they were doing. I don't care about it too much, to be honest.
I thought it was interesting to hear the part I liked about it was that and what I thought was done well is I can't find the name of the actor who played Book's father, but their relationship seemed legit, like what Braxton was saying, like how you would deal perhaps with a difficult, like it seemed like a real interaction, like the acting was on point from both of them. And then I also like that, like we kind of in a way, in a sense, we're getting a little glimpse into that voice of doubt that's always in Book's head. And now we know what it is. It's his father, which is interesting. So it just like adds extra dimension. But I agree, like if we didn't have all that, it wouldn't have really, I don't think it would have really changed the episode too much, not to have it. Because I already feel like Book is coming to terms. It just adds another extra layer to him coming to terms with the loss of his family, and I think that's interesting.
Generally speaking, I don't think we needed the Book loss in this season to like correctly transmit what the emotions that this anomaly has. Like I understand how crazy and how terrifying this anomaly is. They didn't need to kill Book's family and planet. Like I don't think that was necessary. We didn't need him to go through that struggle, and we could have also had. Hmm?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't care for Book's family being vaporized either. So sorry.
Yeah, I didn't need that. I didn't quite enjoy that, and I think that what they're doing with Stamets and what they're doing with Kolba, they could be accomplished without necessarily having Book going through the trauma that he's going through. So I know it adds a little weight, I guess, to it all, but I don't think it's necessary. But then like they did it, and I'm not like necessarily angry about it. I'm not like, it isn't Renee.
Yeah, Renee is unforgivable. I can't
Yeah.
forgive. I can't forgive Renee. That's not forgivable.
I know.
Burned to death in fire.
What else
Sorry.
did we get in this episode? Oh, Saru. Like, what did you all think of the Saru stuff? I liked his one line. What was it? Greater focus creates greater awareness. That really resonated with me,
That
and I
sounds
liked.
like a Doug Jones
Who did he
thing
say
to
that to?
doesn't it?
Yeah.
He said that to
Book.
no, he said that when Zoro was on the bridge and like was telling, like Zoro and Gray were telling the captain how like she's not able to function properly, she can't sense her sensors, but then when she started playing the game with Gray, that all of a sudden
She could focus.
she could focus on everything, like all of a sudden everything just felt, her systems, she had that control of all the systems that were supposed to be routine and automatic again. And so that's when Saru was like, oh, that makes sense, because greater focus actually creates greater awareness. And then he says something really profound to Book at the end too about anger. He talks about, he actually had he had a lot of good moments in this episode, but he has that nice moment with Book where he talks about, and I was actually really pleased about that, because I did wonder if it was all good with the Baul for Saru, And so here we get a definite, like, where he's like, he still gets outraged sometimes, like it overcomes him, but then he realizes that no, it's actually not a bad thing, that like, that it's good to like, it's not good to it's not good to be angry all the time, but it's good to like recognize it and see it, and as he says to Owoshikin, to bear witness to it, but to let it go or to pass by, because like things are not necessarily like the same anymore in this time period. The other thing I really liked was Burnham saying to Zora at the end, when Zora creates her family tree, where she's like, and that resonated with me too, because it's all about like, it kind of reminds me of like infinite diversity and infinite combinations, the ideals that kind of like, permeate through Star Trek, based around that philosophy, where she says, this is different, but it's good and it's special, like when she's talking about Zora, unlike Sean, who's afraid of Zora and wants to kill her, Burnham is embracing her as different, but also good and special. And so I think that's
You
like,
can
that was
embrace
like a really
people
good.
as different and special, but still be kind of scared.
No, but
Every
shit,
single
I'm sorry.
person is scary.
To defend Sean just a little bit here, he's completely right.
I'm
He's
teasing,
completely
right?
He's completely right. Zora, if she wanted, she could gas the entire crew.
But they're her family.
Good.
She wouldn't do that. They're in a
Yeah,
family
she
church.
loves
Yes,
them.
yes,
Well, she doesn't seem
yes.
smart
I
enough
get.
because when
Yeah,
she
yeah.
when she turned
Can you
off
imagine
the environmental
Braxton
controls, she turned
next
off the
week?
lights.
Next week, her family tree has like an X on someone. Like it's just like or a red, like someone's red on the family
Family
tree,
tree or
like because
acrylic?
she's
What's the
mad at
difference?
Zora's. Zora, pull up your family tree. Why are so many people red on your family tree? Oh, no reason, Captain
Who do you
Burnham.
think is going to be her best friend? Burnham, Owushikun, or Detmar?
I think Burnham's gonna be her mother. I think this is
Mm,
Burnham's
Ooh.
child, like a proto child.
mm.
We're gonna get to see
Yeah,
how Burnham
Burnham's
is
had
like as
three
a
mothers at this point. Like,
right. It's time
could
for
be someone
Mama
else taking
Burnham
over.
to pass the torch. So I think that we'll see Burnham expressing like motherly feelings, which she already started to, and then when she has a baby with Book, it'll feel more amazing. But then Zora will get jealous of the baby, like pets do, and then we'll have some problems and drama. No, but yeah, I definitely think Burnham will be more like a mom to her. I think
Yeah. Okay.
like similar to Janeway and
Father is
Seven.
outraged at my fear of Zora. He's down here
There is,
defending
yeah, I'm
Zora.
so sorry we haven't gotten to like there's so many great comments, but I'm trying to like stay tuned in. I can't multitask very well, so I'm trying my best to
I'm gonna
stay
throw something
tuned
completely
in.
different at you guys then. Like,
Sure.
Zora, let's get off this. I feel like the sound design or the sound editing wasn't top notch on this episode. Like there were small things that I think every franchise and every episode has always done, where like the dots in space and you can hear like you can always hear explosions and that kind of stuff in Star Trek in space when there shouldn't be any sound, but that's fine. But I feel like they should have made it like marked the point of like there's no sound, nothing at all. And when the dot went out, I would have liked it to be completely silent, just because this is supposed to be such a like a kind of numb environment. And also, the music that they had when they started the sonar had a little doot 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 in it, and I thought that that was the sonar before the sonar actually started. I was like, oh, I can hear it. It's very faint, but that was just the music that they were playing. But like
Interesting.
the score that they chose was very peculiar. I was like, why would they choose a score that actually has a a beep in it, like a little ping? You know, I was like, that's a bit weird. Because then when the sonar comes, it's like this giant ass ping.
They
Bang,
said,
and you're like, oh, okay, this is it.
they
Yeah,
said you're
so
not watching The Expanse. You're watching Star Trek.
what does that mean?
Like
Does this mean they get things
he's
wrong?
like Braxton's saying like the Expanse is super focused on physics and reality and like science, like that
Yeah,
detail,
fair
that
enough.
level of detail, whereas Star
Fair
Trek has
enough.
never been.
Dude, you're watching fantasy. This is fantasy.
It's space opera, which I like to
Uh,
remind everyone. It's true. There's a
Well,
little
I
bit of
mean,
it's like
it's
it's
like
true.
Wheel of Time, dude.
I haven't seen that, but yeah, no, it used to be like that. We said Star Wars was fantasy and Star Trek wasn't, but I guess Star Trek is it's always been fantasy.
Star
I
Star
guess.
Trek's
There's always been like
Star
the green
Trek's
hand
been
floating
more
in space.
is
So.
100% more science fiction than Star Wars is, but there are fantastical elements, especially if you watch the original series and you have
They
these
just try to
like
justify their bullshit with science, but it's still
right.
bullshit. Like
It's
you know,
still right. Yeah, it's still
the
is.
whole prophet with the orbs and like the sacred book that they read from is like, yo, that comes from Lord of the Rings. Like it comes from like you know,
Yeah,
that's 100% fantasy. Deep Space Nine went full fantasy.
Mhm. They did.
spiritual fantasy. Interesting.
But yeah,
But,
I just found that the sound design or like the use of like I guess the tracks that they had, it was a little awkward this time.
I'll tell you what, that little dot was serving so well that it decided to scream at the last minute so they could hear it, so they could figure out later that they could do the ping for sonar because they knew that sound traveled within the rift. Because
That's
that little
interesting.
dot did such a good effing job and was like, I better broadcast a loud sound before I disintegrate so that the Discovery can know. Yeah, like 100%. That's what
Oh, poor
happened. So
little
there,
guy,
I
dude.
know, even more. Like that little dot
I would
gave
have
its.
enjoyed that
You
explanation.
sound like
That's
yeah,
the explanation. It's obvious. That's like it's
Oh, yeah.
totally there. That's
Never
there
did.
on screen. It's on screen, Sean. The thing screamed. You heard it scream. It's on screen.
Like they have to
Like-
Burnham basically tells everyone, please put yourselves in the pattern buffers, like multiple, like don't go alone. And I was like, why not? Like, and then so my mind starts thinking, I'm like, okay, so maybe you need multiple patterns for there to be like a large enough kind of pattern just to like make sure
Hold
that we can
everybody.
retrieve. Yeah, make sure we can retrieve everyone because you know, like
I think
There's a
also
lot.
because of that Barkley episode, we know that they look like little worms floating around in like this, matter anti, whatever the transporter stream. So maybe if they're in threes, they don't get lost and they can stay with each other when they're like
Maybe,
little
but
worms.
but I
Like
was
I don't
like,
know.
okay, so I'm gonna find my own explanation for that. But I would have liked a little, like I would have liked a little more like science and like kind of just like figuring out what's going on in this place and figuring out really how to get out of it. Because I really liked the whole thing about like going into the patent buffer. It
Yeah,
was
that's pretty
pretty
cool.
nuts though, because it's like you're ordering everyone to essentially stay inside the ship, but the ship is potentially going to disappear.
But you're safe, like wherever the transporter buffer it might be in the heart of
Yeah,
the
so like
ship or
Zora
something.
has to
So like,
basically create like this big thing around the patent
yeah,
buffer and try to move it away.
yeah, it's true. I have a point to make about that, by the way. Bookketamine Dad says, I like this show so much better since Burnham became the true captain and got away from Rylac, saying she still wasn't ready. For fuck's sake, or for frack's sake, just let us have a captain. Thank you. Yeah, I think for
Burnham,
me personally, like I think Michael is blossoming in ways that I've always wanted for this
Michael,
character, and like having her be the captain is the right thing. Like I wish, I kind of now that like I'm enjoying her as a captain so much, I kind of appreciate that we went on that journey like for so long to see her get to it, because the payoffs are just like really nice for me personally, because of all the struggles she had to go through. And I love her. I love seeing her like thrive as a captain, but also fail sometimes, and do her own thing sometimes, and she's getting
yeah,
like calmer, if you will.
yeah, Michael, for my money, I've been very, very impressed with the character shift from previous iterations of Michael Burnham in other seasons, but I still believe that Michael hasn't faced her unwinnable situation yet.
It's coming. I think it's coming.
She needs to have her Kobayashi Maru moment, and
I'm so scared.
that moment for me will say to it'll help me go, okay,
Didn't she
Michael
already have
is
it, dude,
really
in that
no, but
episode?
no, but no, but I no, but
I feel like
I
she has
want
one every season.
yeah, I want somebody to bite it.
Whoa, but people
And,
have.
Yeah,
but
no, they
Oh,
weren't
no,
all
hold
elite
up,
characters.
Oh,
hold up,
true,
just a
true.
second.
Like bite it for real.
I'm talking about somebody that we actually give a damn about.
Okay, but that's not fair. They don't do that in other shows.
they don't
Like
do that in Star Trek, dude. They don't
they
kill
didn't
main
kill.
characters in Star
Yeah,
Trek.
like they didn't kill a main in Voyager just to prove that Janeway was like a tough captain.
But I'm just saying, for me personally, as a writer, that's what I would do. To
Marcelo wants stakes. Marcelo
yes,
Yeah,
I want
wants
Marcelo,
steaks.
steaks.
Yes,
He
kill
wants
exactly.
people.
those
I
Yeah,
want steaks.
steaks.
you're creating anomalies and you're killing people we don't care about on planets. No, kill someone we know. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wants.
Yeah.
We have a limited time left, and I just want to touch on one more subject before we end the stream, which is Gray coming up in the world. What did you guys think of the whole storyline with Gray being invited to the bridge and like kind of getting into the circle a little bit more? And like, did you guys think that Adira was going to be jealous? I was very impressed and surprised that they didn't go that way, because I always think of like Discovery as like leaning into the drama a little more than the other, like than other Star Treks have. Like,
Somewhat, yeah.
what's that?
I said somewhat.
Somewhat, right? So in this episode, Adira seemed totally fine. There was no drama, and Gray was like, winning and having, their best life ever. So,
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty cool. What did you guys think of that whole story?
I did not care. I did
Agreed.
not care. I did.
In the perfect words, I don't care.
I did not care.
Oh, I care. Two thumbs up
you.
from me, dude.
And I care.
I enjoyed Gray having something to do. Like,
There's a clear
as
line
we
here
looked at her,
between us.
like after everyone left and went to their post, like she was standing there alone and she was like, oh, like, what am I gonna do? Like, okay, well, I'll play a game. Like, Zora, let's play a game. And then she was feeling useless. And then she found like her purpose. So it's great when someone finds their purpose in a place, So I enjoyed Gray's role in the story. So maybe instead of Detmer or what's going to Michael Burnham, Gray's going to be um, Zola's best friend. Or
Oh
Zora's.
yeah, they did start. I
Yeah,
guess they
that's
established a
yeah,
relationship
you're
there.
right.
Yeah,
I
Mm.
didn't
you're
even think
100
of
percent
that. Of
right.
course,
That's
you're right.
that's a really good
I
point.
just don't care about Gray as a character. I think that Gray is more like an anchor pulling Adira back as a character. I feel
Oh,
like
she's
Adira.
holding her.
Interesting.
She's holding her back.
Yeah, I
Wow,
feel like
wow.
Adira could develop and grow more as a character within like the cast that we currently have than Gray. I
Why?
think maybe
Because she
they bit
doesn't.
off.
Because she won't then have attachments, and like she'll just like be free to like become like the full Phoenix that she can be.
Yeah, well, we can go with that. That's
Mm.
fine. No,
Mm.
I just think that they added two characters at once where they really had room to kind of explore. Like they hadn't explored other characters, but like I feel like they could have really added
Exactly,
one
right?
character and rather explore one character in depth than trying to juggle these two. I know that there's a relationship going on, but I would have been fine with just Gray being like background character. We know that they're in a relationship. It's nice to sometimes have some scenes at home, with like Colbert and Stamets, because that's or like Keiko and O'Brien. Like it was mainly O'Brien, but then sometimes you get those Keiko moments. It's nice to have that, but I don't feel like Gray needs to be so present. I'm
I
just not enchanted with the character.
An interesting thing seems to be happening with Discovery in season 3, and I feel like it's very prominent in season 4, is that I feel the show took a shift to a more uh, general audience or family friendly vibe, like from before. Like
Mm.
we see a lot less like crazy
Body horror.
violent body horror and things like that.
Mm.
And I think
Mm.
they're showing like I think like we may not the characters may not resonate with us because we're like older and stuff like that, but I do
Mm.
think if there are like teenagers watching Star Trek Discovery,
Mm.
you're definitely not you look like a teenager, Sean, but you're not a teenager. But like if there are teenagers watching Star Trek Discovery, I do wonder if Gray and Adira might be resonating with them a lot more because
Mm.
maybe they
What does
reflect.
What does Robbie think?
I don't know actually. I know we talked to him about it last season, and I think we'll have to ask Robbie. Robbie, if you're
Yeah,
seeing this video, please comment in
yeah, just a
specifically
long,
comment
elaborate comment.
and let us know. Yeah, we
That'd
want
be
like a
great.
really long. We want to praise C about your feelings about Gray and Adira, and if they resonate with your age group or not. So that would be nice if you could deliver that. I'll and then we'll grade it on Starfleet Boy, and we'll let you know if you got high marks on it or no.
No,
Or
it's an
not.
opinion. We can't rate it. We can't grade it. We
No, I
can't
told him
rate
to
it.
write a praise C. He has to write a praise or an essay or something. Like that would be nice. No, I'm just kidding. Just a nice comment letting us know would be cool. But anyways, do you guys have any final thoughts about the episode? Anything you want to dying to get out about it before we give our ratings?
We
So
give
I
our
enjoyed the character development of Book, and I also enjoyed the character development of Zora. I thought this episode felt super different than Discovery has felt lately. Like it felt slow, but slow, like not in a
Like
bad way.
paced,
Slow,
like
like
yeah.
slow paced, and I just enjoyed the character development. I thought it was different. I thought it was good. I loved some of the visuals, like when like Discovery's like outer shell was like
Falling
disintegrating.
apart. Oh, and that's yeah, like when the heat shield, like that, all that. Yeah, that was really
Mhm.
beautiful. They had shown that in the trailer, and I had wondered what that was going to be, and it was cool to see that in this episode. Oh, can I interrupt your final thoughts with one little thing that I just wanted to say?
Of course.
Captain Burnham was willing to go down with the ship, and I loved that. Like I love because
Mm.
someone like to Sean's
Mm.
point, she can't like 100% trust Zora, right? Like
Mhm.
so, someone has to be there to like potentially like kill Zora if Zora's crazy and
Mhm.
or like burnt out or whatever, and
She
then
was the one
reactivate
that
it.
least at risk, technically,
What's
because like
that?
Zora, she was the one that least at risk, because Zora could have just
Right.
eliminated all the
And
transport buffers, but not burn them
And
as
one thing I
easily.
really liked also is that Zora is a true subordinate crew member and acts always in Burnham's everything that we've seen. Zora always 100% acts in Burnham's interest. Like Zora could be like, "No, Captain Burnham, that's unsafe. I'm gonna put you in the pattern buffer," but she like honored Burnham's
Like Data.
command. Like
Mhm.
like yeah, she honored Data's she honored Sorry, she honored Burnham's command. Like she followed it to the letter. She was just like, "It'll be nice to have company. Thank you, Captain." And that's it. Like I do love that Zora is like loyal. Like you could tell there's loyalty. And then at the end of the episode, she does earn Burnham's trust. And so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you back. I got all
yay
excited.
For Zora.
Yeah, another yay for Zora.
Everyone's getting mad at us because we're all like, no, yay for Zora.
Yes.
we like new life forms.
Yay for Zora.
Yeah, actually, the actress who does the voice for Zora has worked with Alex Kurtzman before. She was one of the main characters in his directorial debut, The Mummy, the one with Tom Cruise.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so I don't know her name, but she has actually worked with Alex before. So I wonder.
Zora is played by Annabelle Wallace.
Yes, Annabelle Wallace.
Yeah,
yes.
Annabelle Wallace.
Yeah, Annabelle Wallace. Yeah.
Really?
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Braxton, sorry, we'll go right to you next, Marcel. But Braxton,
Okay,
I interrupted Braxton, so I just want to give him a chance to finish his.
Was she like Tom Cruise's friend there?
No, she was his love interest in the film. I think. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so she was like she was the one that
excited.
Tom Cruise is with all the time.
Yeah.
That's so
I
funny.
defend that movie. I defend that movie more than most people do.
No,
Wow.
to me, that movie is Alex Kurtzman's Bad Day at the Office. But it's enjoyable, but it's
They asked
pretty.
a lot of them. They asked them to set up an entire universe with just one movie.
We're not here to talk about the Mummy. We're here to talk about Star Trek. So, as a captain, I'm going to say abort that mission and let's get back to Braxton.
Sorry.
Let's get back to Braxton. Finish up your closing thoughts and give us a rating, Braxton. By the way, mine is a 10.
Oh wow!
I forgot to go first. I always go first with the ratings.
Oh wow! Okay, so I didn't really have anything else, so that's cool. My rating is a 9.1. I enjoyed this episode. Good. I thought it was very
high
good.
marks. Marcelo, please, and I'm sorry I interrupted you too. So carry on.
I love the way that this episode was directed. I love the claustrophobic feel of it once they entered the anomaly and like the deadness of the them being in the anomaly. So I appreciate that a lot. But the thing that I loved most about this episode was the fact that I got to see some of my favorite bridge characters actually do something and interact with Burnham and the rest of the senior officers on the ship. This episode really felt like a classic episode of TNG, for example, where everybody got to work together and to accomplish a goal in ways that I think Discovery hasn't done in a while, so to speak. My grade for this episode, would be probably like a 7. I loved most of it, but a lot of stuff with Book and Gray and Adira really dragged this episode down a lot for me. So that's why I gave it a 7.
Cool. And Toddy, what do you say?
I enjoyed the concept of like the dark void. I enjoyed the concept of things disappearing without like explanation. I just think that I don't know. I think it was an interesting little episode, like kind of a little bubble episode, I guess, within the season. That was a bit different, but I think it still has a lot of flaws. It dragged on a bit. Like, I don't even know how to articulate this. I'm gonna have to really find my words for the review there. But it's a 6.5 for me.
Nice.
It's not,
you will find your words, and you will
fantastic.
be doing a review on your channel. So that segues perfectly into everyone go check out Trek on the Tube. Did you drop last week's episode already? Sorry.
I'm very late. I need to drop episode 4 and 5. I will be filming them sometime soon. And I have a species video on the Betazoids that I'll be filming as well.
So yay.
Coming out sometime soon.
You hadn't done Betazoids yet? I didn't know that.
No, I hadn't done. Someone came and someone commented on all of my species videos that I needed to make a Betazoid video. So
they went and commented on every single video, like, where's the Betazoid video?
Yeah, I got at least 10 comments from the same person. Okay, it's coming. It's coming. I fold.
So that's how we get you to do it. Okay, good. Well, everyone
you only need to comment once.
Thank you for that honor, Braxton. Everyone can check you out on Twitter. What's your handle?
Leviathan026.
Woohoo!
Shoot me a message.
Yes. Follow Braxton. Follow Toddy. Also, he's Trek on the Tube on Twitter, and we have Marcelo over here who you can follow. Creek Fanatic 88
On Twitter, yes.
Twitter.
And if you want to see my exploits on YouTube, I'm at Balloon Head Productions. But I also have two podcasts. One of them is the Red Wall podcast, and the other one is a podcast dedicated to my favorite writer director working today, J.J. Abrams, and that podcast is called Simply Radio 815.
Oh wow!
Nice.
But how much you hate on Star Trek, dude? I couldn't even tell that he was your favorite.
What? I do not hate on Star Trek. Do I hate on Star Trek? Tell me. Do
I
hate
think
on-
I think
Oh
that
my
you're
God.
I think that you like other Star Treks, but you like Discovery less.
No, I loved it. I love Discovery.
Oh, you do
I had,
love it. Okay.
I had to throw some shade before I left.
Oh my God. Dude, dude,
We'll end on a less shady note, which I like this sentiment that Father wrote. So we're gonna end on that. Sorry, we were not gonna discuss it because Toddy can't stick around unless he wants to. I am constantly impressed with the writings, allegories with Gray and Nadira. One of the most impressive things Disco has done in my eyes. This episode had some good trans allegory with Zora. Things like choosing a name as part of one's self-actualization. I love hearing the trans community praise the show after years of media overlooking them. I do too. And go check out Jesse Gender's Sex in Star Trek video, which was having a lot of drama because YouTube demonetized it and then remonetized it. So it's finally remonetized. So now go check it out so that she gets the views. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. I love talking about Star Trek Discovery with you guys. I love talking about Star Trek in general. I'm wearing my holiday hat, so I don't think we'll see you guys. We won't see you guys tomorrow for TQIF. Instead, thank you, Father, for throwing this up here. It's going to be on Saturday starting at 7 p.m. Central, and then we'll do Starfleet Boy After Dark
right. Merry
following
Christmas,
that.
everyone.
Yeah, because
Oh my
it's
god!
Chris.
We should do a Wheel
Merry
of Time
Christmas.
special tomorrow, Starfleet Boy.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. It'll be like late at night. We'll talk about it offline. But anyways, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and to quote my favorite version of A Christmas Carol, I will hold you close with a thankful heart.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Merry Christmas, guys. I hope Santa brings you everything that you want.
Merry Christmas.